And so David going to be trying to use his unburial rights to sort of trump the mirror here. But John has quite a few big guys of his own. One Angel of Serenity, one Armada Worm, which he was talking about using Armada Worm alongside Undying Evil.
I'm sorry, I would like to add a little historical anecdote that I just thought of.
Go for it.
Gerard Fabiano,
yes,
very interestingly, he just lost earlier to David Bauer, who's playing this Junk Reanimator list. Gerard Fabiano, he is most well known when it comes to playing in Magic, playing junk decks. Historically, he has played more junk decks, and actually, the first time I saw Gerard Fabiano play Magic was in New York City. He was in the finals of a PTQ that I was judging, and he was playing junk versus tricks, and he would have won, but he made a minor player. And I was like, who is this young kid playing my deck?
That's awesome.
But yeah, Gerard Fabiano has been a favorite Magic player of mine for about 12 years since I first met him when he was playing my old list, so that was awesome. And it's kind of sad, though, for him to lose to, you know, the deck that really got him on the Pro Tour in the first place. Yeah.
It's sad to lose always.
Oh, yeah. Well, also very interesting to me is when Gerard Fabiano made the Team Italia list, which is, for those of you who are Legacy people, which is coming up soon, that red, white, black kind of mid-range aggro list. A little bit more kind of straight-up mid-range. It was, in many ways, very junk feeling. And junk was also based on a red, white, black take on jank. So just full circle, history, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah. I mean, there's only 5 colors. There's the combinations are not endless.
Well, that's why history, I think, is so important.
Right.
Is that you can look and say, you know, hey, I'm working on a modern Merfolk list.
What did people do before?
What did people do before? And you can use it to get some ideas.
You can look. You can take. You say you want to build. When you say modern, I don't know if you meant the format or modern.
Oh,
day,
I mean, yeah, the format.
The format. Okay, so then you're like, okay, what does Legacy do? Let me take all the cards that the Legacy decks play, and then fill the slots there. And you know, looking at Legacy a lot of times, despite being, it's one of those formats where it's kind of like you're. Kind of like looking, I'll describe it as looking through a photo album, right? You're looking at history, but you're looking at it through a certain lens, and it's not quite how it exactly was.
Yep.
You know, it's...
Well, also, too, like, in the standard Merfolk a long time ago, if you're making a modern deck, your modern Merfolk list might look something like some sort of crazy amalgamation between an old standard Merfolk list and a fairly current Legacy Merfolk list, jammed together with the legal cards and some mishmash of what makes sense from them.
Yeah.
Now, here in this very near mirror, we've got Junk Midrange and Junk Reanimator. Midrange as an archetype is one of the oldest general umbrella archetypes that kind of came about as a name maybe in about, I'd say 96, 97. Probably actually closer to 96 if I remember correctly. And it basically means neither control nor beatdown, but in the middle.
So we're underway. Turn 1 Arbor Elf from David Bauer off of an untapped Overgrown Tomb. John going to do the same thing, but with an Avacyn's Pilgrim and a Temple Garden. So, again, a pseudo mirror. Turn 1, Shockland into Manadork.
Now, when it comes to this matchup, John Goss's list is definitely more versatile, but I would say that its upper end of power is a little lower. It does not have the crazy power of Craterhoof Behemoth, for example.
Lotleth Troll on turn 2 from David Bauer.
I would hazard to say that if Fabiano had played against John Goss, he might have won that match. Loxodon Smiter from John Goss on turn 2, a very effective big beater early.
David top decks Angel of Serenity. You see he's got an Overgrown Tomb, also a Grizzly Salvage, I believe a second Angel, and Unburial Rights. Alright, so John untaps on his third turn, trying to decide what he wants to do here. He could throw that Smiter in and threaten the Lotleth Troll, but that would give David an opportunity to capitalize on the on combat to discard his Angels of Serenity, and we know he has Unburial Rights. Instead, looks like Lingering Souls from John and a passed turn. David, end of turn, Grizzly Salvage, finds Centaur Healer, Forest, Temple Garden, I believe a land there in the middle, and a Gavany Township. Not sure what the land in the middle is, but I think it may be maybe an Overgrown Tomb.
I imagine he's going to take a land of some kind.
He's going to take the Temple Garden.
That's the newfangled Temple Garden.
It certainly is.
That's actually one of the ones that I prefer to the old art. I actually mostly prefer the original Shocklands arts. And there goes the Temple Garden.
I think the only one that I prefer, new to old, is Watery Grave. And there you see Angel of Serenity discarded to the Lotleth Troll, pumps it, and now Unburial Rights. David
We're going to see
Bauer.
this Angel of Serenity do just a ton of just havoc to John Goss's board. Looks like it clears most of the board. He does not take out that second Lingering Souls token because he wants to get that Centaur Healer underneath the Angel of Serenity. Now, both of these players have seen each other's lists, so it's worth noting that John Goss's only way to kill Angel of Serenity in Game 1 is Tragic Slip or a fair combat.
So there you see Angel of Serenity, a 5/6 flyer for 7 mana. A mythic rare from Return to Ravnica. When it was first spoiled, it was pretty popular. We saw it in a number of decks, from Junk to some different blue-based control decks. It's kind of fallen out of favor in those decks for the most part. We haven't seen it nearly as much, but it is still making a huge impact in these Junk lists. And
Look at that.
such an impact that John says, I'm going to play another Angel, David says, I'm going to play another Angel, and John says, all right, I'm not going to deal with that.
Yeah, now this is what we're talking about, that explosion, right? The ability just to, you put it into play and the game ends. Now, John Goss has it too, but he only has one of them. He has 2 Unburial Rights, but he's not a dedicated reanimation list, so he just can't quite get the same impact that David Bauer can with it.
Yeah, he doesn't have it as consistently as David Bauer. As David's deck wants to, is set up to do that, whereas John's kind of has it. As you said, I think yesterday, it's for value.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
like, I'm going to do this when I can do it, but otherwise I don't have to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Exactly. Now, for those of you who are just joining us, we saw the first win of this finals go to David Bauer with his over-the-top, powered through Unburial Rights into Angel of Serenity. But you can win at home in a different way, and that is with our Star City Games premium giveaway. StarCityGames.com Open Series at the top 8 of all of the events. Standard Day 1, the beginning of Standard here in the morning of Day 2, and at the end of the night in Legacy. We give away 8 free months of pardon me, in the top 8, 3 free months of Star City Games Premium. In that top 4, we give away 6 months. And finally, in the finals, which is where we're at right now, we give away a year of Star City Games Premium. How do you get involved? Hashtag SCG Premium is the way on Twitter. Just answer this question that Joey Pasco is going to ask, a trivia question. Use the correct hashtag SCG Premium, give the correct answer, and one lucky person will be given a whole year of Star City Games Premium. What, pray tell, Joey Pasco, is this final trivia question?
Well, you know, I was thinking, we've had quite an exciting top 8. We've had quite a diverse top 8, and I think this format's very diverse. In fact, last week at SCG Indy, we had 2 different archetypes put 2 copies into the top 8 that didn't even show up. What 2 archetypes are they? So what 2 archetypes each put 2 copies into the top 8 of SCG Indy last week, but failed to show in the top 8 of SCGDC?
Okay, so for the Star City Games Premium giveaway, what two archetypes from SCG Indy?
I had to make it a little bit harder.
What 2 archetypes from SCG Indy had multiple people in the top 8
in the SCG Indy,
and 0 here in DC?
Yep.
Tweet the correct answer to hashtag SCG Premium. Yep. What 2 archetypes had multiple finishers in the top 8 of SCG Indy and 0 in the top 8 here in SCG DC? and hashtag SCG Premium. Going into our sideboards here, we were saying before David Bauer has the more explosive, more powerful top end when it comes to his junk build. But what does he do against the graveyard hate that he might be facing? Now, the graveyard hate is only 3 Deathrite Shamans, but there's also some Sever the Bloodlines. That's going to be the way that John Goss is going to be attempting to fight this. So, David Bauer, I think we're going to see from David Bauer, I think we're going to see Abrupt Decay to kill the Deathrite Shamans that John Goss can bring in. And he also is going to want to stay alive through some of the early kill, but it's not like it's an overwhelming fast swarm.
Right, and
I think it's going to be Obsidian.
That's exactly where I was headed. I think because this is likely to be, unless he gets his combo off, he's the deck that can actually win faster because of the combo. But if he doesn't, if John is able to put up some resistance, it's going to go to a longer game, and if he can just kind of get that grindy 2 life out of Obsidat that we've seen him do already, and we've seen Obsidat do all weekend so far. He could do that. Now John, though, is able to match David Obsidat for Obsidat, and that's another reason why I think he could bring it in. Obsidat is just one of the best answers for Obsidat.
Yeah, I think it's going to be John Goss is going to bring in his Deathrite Shamans, and he's going to bring in Sever the Bloodline. Definitely. And I think David Bauer is going to bring in Obsidat and Abrupt Decay. And then the question really, to my mind, becomes, does John Goss bring in Garruk Primal Hunter or not? I think he might.
So you don't think John brings in Obsidat?
Actually, I think John could bring in Obsidat.
Okay.
But the problem is this, that when you look at John Goss's list, he's got so many cards that are actually kind of useful. Like, his Tragic Slips don't seem like they're that great, but they're the only way he has to kill an Angel of Serenity that hits play. And also, they can kill an early Elf or early Pilgrim. Now, when you go through each card, card by card, all of the cards have a lot of utility. I mean, the cards he's going to lose, Centaur Healer is not great, so he can cut some Centaur Healers. And then after that, he just does not have many cards to bring in. Deathrite Shaman is where I would start, and then I would definitely bring in Sever the Bloodline, but after that, you're talking about cutting good cards for other cards. I mean, what do you prefer? Do you prefer a Thragtusk or an Obsidat?
Right. Yeah, and I think the case can be made either way. Thragtusk, obviously, very good, especially alongside Restoration Angel, as we've seen both of these players have both of those cards. In fact, 1 extra Restoration Angel on John's side. David just playing 3, but John is the one whose deck is in question here as far as what can he possibly cut. Maybe he can cut the 4th Restoration Angel. I don't know that he does that.
I mean, it's just a very hard call. I know if it were me, I would feel like this is a very difficult matchup. I could see the Smiters leaving because you might not be able to expect to beat through on the ground. And
you saw last game, John had the turn 2 Smiter and it did nothing for him. Very little.
That would give you 5 cards if you took out Smiter and Healer. The thing is a turn 2 Smiter can just go the distance. And we see the game about to start.
Yeah, drawing their opening 7. David now on the draw, up a game versus John Goss here in the finals of the StarCityGames.com Open Series in Washington, D.C. I am Joey Pasco, joined by Adrian Sullivan.
Hello.
Watching a junk pseudo mirror. John Goss with a kind of just straightforward junk mid-range deck. David Bauer with a, well, he's got a straightforward junk mid-range deck too, but he also has more reanimation elements. Not just the Unburial Rights, you know, he's got 4 copies of that, but his is built to capitalize on that. So, we are underway. Turn 1 from John Goss. Looks like Deathrite Shaman off of an Overgrown Tomb. David Bauer plays his Overgrown Tomb tapped, passes back. John attacks with Deathrite Shaman and plays a second Overgrown Tomb. So we're just in rock mode at the moment. Both players just access to black and green until that Sun Petal Grove David Bauer now has a turn 2 mulch. Finds Angel of Serenity, Abrupt Decay, Acidic Slime, Avacyn's Pilgrim, and Lingering Souls.
Okay, wait a second there.
Uh-oh,
it's not a Grizzly Salvage. It's a mulch. I think what's going to happen here is David Bauer is going to get a warning that Lingering Souls is going to be put back on top, and then they're going to shuffle it.
Looks
and
like
there it is.
Yep.
Okay. Now, the reason that that's the resolution for this, it seems pretty likely that that was just a small gaffe, so he's not going to get any kind of major slap on the wrist or anything. And the solution is very simple. It's a random card. We'll put it back in there and have another card be the random top card.
Yeah, very easy to get those two cards mixed up when you're playing both of them in the same deck and kind of trying to do the same thing. Accidentally brainstorm when you ponder. Ever do that?
I have done that before, yes.
Yeah, you cast Ponder in Legacy and accidentally use it as a brainstorm.
If you're just joining us, I'm Adrian Sullivan here with Joey Pasco. And we see John Goss, game 2 on the play, playing against David Bauer in this near mirror. John Goss with a more straightforward junk mid-range list, which is doing more fair things. David Bauer, on the other hand, going for the reanimation powers that will let him explode into very scary things.
John Goss adds a Gavany Township to the board and passes back. Now with some targets for that Deathrite Shaman. So, Lotleth Troll from David Bauer. We saw that do some work already for him, and a fairly impressive card in that deck. A little piece of the engine. I believe this is still the end of David's turn. John possibly considering what to remove with a Deathrite Shaman if he would like to get some kind of value out of that. Instead, no, he's gonna Tragic Slip the Lotleth Troll. In response, Craterhoof Behemoth will come down, make the troll a little bit bigger, and John activates Deathrite Shaman to remove the mulch. All at the end of David's turn. John now untaps for his 4th turn, trying to get a game under his belt here, down a game. Finds an Abrupt Decay for the Lotleth Troll. Deals with it. Attacks with Deathrite Shaman. Knocks David down to 16 here and passes the turn with a Gavany Township, the lone untapped land on his side. David untaps his 3 lands. He definitely has a land drop for the turn. I believe he has a Restoration Angel as well in hand. He's going to mulch, though. And we see Woodland Cemetery, Isolated Chapel, Overgrown Tomb, Overgrown Tomb. I think I'll take all these lands, says David.
That first mulch he made up for. That first mulch, 0 cards.
So he plays Overgrown Tomb and passes back. Slow start for David, but he's setting up for bigger things. John looks like he's on the attack yet again with a Deathrite Shaman. Going to knock David down to 15. And with 4 lands, passes back. No land drop there, but possibly a Restoration Angel. Likely.
That Abrupt Decay that's in David Bauer's graveyard is literally the only way he has to kill that Deathrite Shaman in play from John Goss, unless he's able to Tragic Slip it via, death and then slip. And that's presuming he even brought in the slips.
So David plays Isolated Chapel, passes back. End of turn, John flashes in Restoration Angel, blinks the Deathrite Shaman. Not much of an effect other than untapping the Shaman. And John goes to work on his turn, swinging with the Restoration Angel, and David says, I will like to flash in a Restoration Angel of my own.
I think this is a trap. I think he's trying to get John to pump up his angel with that Gavany Township and use his Deathrite Shaman. Oh boy.
Wow, matching Tragic Slip for Tragic Slip.
Okay, he's rethinking that slip. That slip is the only way he has to kill the Deathrite Shaman. He can let his angel die, and then... Oh, nope, he's going to go for Dueling Angels Living. Did I declare it? Is that what he's saying? I haven't fully done it. I've got it in my hand still. I don't know, says the judge. You might have declared it. Well, I don't know. Maybe I didn't want to do it yet. I've stuck up my hand on the pawn.
I don't think he ever made any indication that it was going at the Deathrite Shaman.
Oh, I wasn't saying the Deathrite Shaman. I was saying the Angel.
Well, I know he initially said Angel, and then it looked like he was rethinking it, but I don't think he ever went, no, I'd rather hit the Shaman. I think he was like, yeah, Angel. You know, I did it. I said it. I don't, you know, it didn't look like he was trying to change his mind. It looked like he thought about it though. Either way, Angels bounce off each other and trade tragic slips on each side. So
usually a tragic slip results in somebody dying.
Yeah, usually. That was just a funny little, it was like a banana peel tragic slip. Like, woo! Now I'm just a 2-3. Oh, me too! Woo! Weird.
Oh, it's sort of like everybody hit the banana peel on Mario Kart.
Yeah, we both slipped on the banana peel, yeah. So,
I always loved the banana peel on Mario Kart.
Yeah, that was a fun one. So, a Lingering Souls out of David Bauer, and he is going to go all
immediately
four,
flash
yeah.
it back. Now, if you are wondering why does not John Goss use his Deathrite Shaman to get rid of the Lingering Souls, he does not have a chance. The way that this works, the Lingering Souls is on the stack when it's being cast.
Yep.
When it hits the graveyard, that means that the stack is empty and it's still David Bauer's turn to act.
Yes.
So he can then recast the Lingering Souls before
Right, at which
John
point
has a
it moves
chance.
onto the stack and it's no longer in the graveyard.
Angel holding off a bunch of spirits.
David able to connect with his Angel there. John Goss's turn. Right now his board is Avacyn's Pilgrim, Deathrite Shaman, Restoration Angel, and 4 lands, including a Gavany Township.
I like how he has his Deathrite Shaman hiding amongst his lands and his Avacyn's Pilgrim hiding amongst his lands. I can actually picture the Deathrite Shaman, you know, like hanging out there in those random forests.
Yeah, that's where he hangs out, swamps and forests.
And the Pilgrim, it makes sense that he's there in the township.
Yeah, hanging out in the township. I like it. Yeah, setting up a little.
Okay, John Goss attacks. David Bauer chump blocks with 1 spirit.
No sweat. I'll just throw this spirit in front of it.
I think John is maybe contemplating a more expensive spell.
He passes back. David, we can see he's got, well, he just top decked Thragtusk. He's also got an Angel of Serenity, and I believe a couple of lands.
Yeah, Angel of Serenity can also get rid of Deathrite Shaman if it's hard cast.
Yeah. And there you have it. Land, Angel of Serenity. David now, presuming this sticks without any responses from John, has an opportunity to rid himself of that shaman.
One of the things that is just really problematic for John in this matchup, John cannot kill David fast enough. And this means that David's powerful endgame spells get to come into play. He can cast these Angel of Serenity without having to be sneaky and tricking it into play. He can just get up to the mana and do it.
As we saw him do right there. So we see some targets chosen, including the Deathrite Shaman. Deathrite's going to be activated. Get rid of Craterhoof Behemoth. And there goes Avacyn's Pilgrim, Restoration Angel, and Deathrite Shaman, of course. So David uses that Angel as a white bonfire to clear John's side of the board.
Now, John here, it looks like a small earthquake has happened.
No, it was kind of like a white bonfire, but I mean, if you want to compare it to Earthquake, that's fine too.
I was just talking about the shaking of the table.
I know.
Okay. 5 mana now.
Obzedat.
Zat.
Who dat? Obzedat.
Drain for 2.
Obzedat goes away.
back over to Bauer. And
I
David's
think
like,
he's
check this
like-
out. I got a township. You want to scoop it up?
Yeah,
John
and
says
there
it's
it is.
over. That is it.
Obsidian, not enough to put John out of range of Angel, Triple Spirit, and there was something else over there. Gavany Township. So David Bauer, 2-0 with Junk Reanimator. Didn't even need to use his reanimation spells in that game. Just had a better